Okay, welcome to part two. Number seven is another horror film that I didn't care for, but I don't think it's horrible. It had potential. It's Cabin in the Woods. I saw this movie last year, and it has one of the stupidest endings ever. People say that this movie's a game changer. I don't know what they were talking about. I didn't get it. I mean, yes, it makes fun of cliches, but you're when you make fun of cliche, it is a cliche, so it's nothing original. It's nothing new. I did like the cast. I thought the cast was really solid. It had some good gore and some makeup effects, but the film was overhyped. I don't know why they said it was the greatest horror film from 2012. I've seen much better horror films that year and last year. I think The Conjuring is way better. It wasn't a game changer, but it was a good movie, and it didn't have the stupid ending. This film just, Joss Whedon, I don't blame him for this because he did this way before Avengers. And I know it could have been, but it could have been better. This film just did nothing for me. There's no horror in the film until 30 minutes into the movie. That's not a good pace. A good horror film is supposed to have scares from beginning to end, or at least something happening. For crying out loud, I don't think it's a game changer. Way overhyped. I can take it or leave it. Okay, number 6. This is a religious movie that came out 10 years ago, and I saw it. It was good the first time, but I think it got way too much praise, and it was just way overblown, and that's The Passion of the Christ. I'm not a fan of these kinds of movies. They're too boring to me. They're very slow paced, and it's nothing we haven't seen before. Wow, it took them almost 2 hours to show the crucifixion. I'm like, it was just too brutal. It's very depressing. The gore is good, but what happened to Jim Caviezel during the production of this movie makes me not like the movie even more. I think the film just got way too much hype. I mean, like all these religious groups that went to go see it, I'm like, it was so crazy. The anti-Semitism, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Mel Gibson did a good job directing, but I don't think it's his best work. I think he's better as an actor than a director at times. The film did not deserve to make. It's like the highest grossing foreign film of all time, and I don't see it. I'm sorry. Good movie, but just it was seriously overrated. I've seen better films that came out way before this that didn't get the critical notices that this did. I'm glad there's no sequel. It is what it is. But I don't want to offend nobody, so yeah, that's an overrated film I saw that I did not care for. Okay, now number 5 is, I know I'm gonna get crap for this, but I don't care. It's considered the greatest movie of all time. I don't think so. I've seen better, and it's a good movie, but it's way too long. Gone with the Wind. I don't have this movie on DVD or Blu-ray. It is a classic. It is what it is, but I think that the story should have been a lot shorter. This movie's way too long. It's way over melodramatic. The acting's really good, but the downbeat ending doesn't help. Vivian Leigh, I think, does a good performance, but it's a little overbearing for me. I mean, every 5 minutes she's throwing herself at a guy, and I'm like, oh my god, please stop. I wish she was more likable. The film I saw it once. I don't need to see it over and over again. I know Lunaria Claire's a big fan of this movie. That's cool. You can love it all you want. It's a movie of its time. I respect movies from back then, but it came out the same year as Wizard of Oz, and Wizard of Oz did not need to be over 3 hours. If it was, I would have just shut it off, because I think it's a little too long. Movies should only be long when they're telling a good story and they don't have to have too much filler. I mean, this movie has way too much filler. I know it's based on a novel. I'd rather read the novel because at least I don't have to hear the melodrama. But it is a good film for its time. I don't think it's the greatest of all time. I didn't see Citizen Kane, that's why it's not here, but Gone with the Wind is number 5. Okay, now number 4. I have this movie, people. I have it on DVD. I showed it last year. It is a good movie, but it's not the best Batman movie of all time, and that is The Dark Knight. I really enjoyed this film. I saw it in the theater back in 2008. It was a great experience. I don't take anything away from Heath Ledger. He was great. But the movie's too long. I mean, it just has way too many things happening. I think the film has a great production. I think it's well directed. But, people say this is the greatest Batman movie ever made. Batman still has the weird voice. There's a lot of fake Batmans that they just throw in there. It's kind of weird. Just puts me out of it. I don't like that they killed Katie. Katie Holmes' character. Rachel. I didn't like that. And two villains. I think Joker should have been by himself. It's just my opinion. He carried the film. I don't think Two-Face needed to be just shoehorned in there. I don't think this movie's perfect. I think it's a really good film, but I swear IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes treated this movie like it's freaking Citizen Kane, and I'm like, it's good, but it's not the best of all time. I do like this sequel. I like The Dark Knight Rises. I like Batman Begins. I have all three films on DVD. But saying this is the best Batman movie of all time is pushing it a little bit. My favorite Batman movie is the one from 1989, and nobody could take that away from me. I grew up with it. It was to the point. It was shorter, and it left more of an impact on me. Dark Knight, good, but not at the top of the food chain. It's just my opinion. Okay, I'll cut it here.